This man reigns from Akron, Ohio, the red line of the auction business, Conky's Flippin' Adventures. Conky. Oh, man.
Hey.
All right, this man needs no introduction, but they're paying me to do this, so the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. What the Hales, Jeremy! Dun, dun.
I'm here. Look at that. It's real. It's not just the
And
word.
from out west, Sandusky, Lorain, Ohio, some people call him Guapo with a capital G. What up?
What the Hales is going on? Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And
dude, what isn't going on, man?
it's Turkey Day. What a great day. Did you eat turkey today?
Dude, I had the most incredible turkey. I had some last year and I couldn't wait. I've been talking about it for a year with George about getting it again this year. So last year we had a Bubba Q's Thanksgiving. So we went to the owner of Bubba Q's family Thanksgiving. They got a huge family. They all get together on the family camp. And Ryan's uncle Doug makes these turkey bites. So think of chicken nuggets, but I don't know how he does it. He takes these pieces of turkey and then he fries it and with this batter. It is incredible. You know how good Chick-fil-A is? It's up there. Like Chick-fil-A should put turkey bites. And I keep telling Ryan, I'm like, dude, would you please put Uncle Doug's turkey bites on the Bubba Q's menu? And I've been waiting for a year and I finally got it again. And it did not disappoint. It was incredible.
Now I'm getting hungry again.
I guess for some turkey bites.
What about you, Conky? Did you eat some turkey today?
I had a turkey sandwich.
Yeah, that's all matters.
Yeah.
Turkey for you and turkey for me.
We had a host, so we had like, I don't know, 24 people over.
Wow.
Oh, wow. You had a full house.
One long super table in my living room or whatever you call that area. We just had I think 3 or 4 tables set up.
Wow.
So it was pretty good. It was a good time. But my wife's smart, so she told everyone, this is how we had to do it last year. So she makes the turkey, and then she makes potatoes and tells everyone else to bring 1 or 2 sides. So she just got to make the turkey and potatoes. So it's like, boom, everyone brings the food. And, oh, man, I'm so
That's
stuffed.
the way to do it.
Oh, yeah. And then her brother married this lady from China. So she brought some noodles and dumplings. So that's a little extra special, a little Chinese Thanksgiving treat. Oh,
I bet you like that.
oh man. I love Chinese food. So it was good. I had Chinese food and turkey and all the other fixings you could imagine. And then pie and brownies. And I had to wake up just to come on the show.
Did Guapo bring brownies to the family Thanksgiving?
No, we wish.
Where is Guapo?
He's probably eating turkey. He might be handing out turkeys. He might be giving frozen turkeys to homeless people.
To the kids? Hey, little kid, you want a turkey?
It's
Oh,
frozen.
man.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man, that's funny. Yeah, handing out the turkeys. I know he said he was going to hand out some turkeys, so you never know, Guapo. I just remember we were like, you're handing out turkeys, frozen turkeys to homeless people? What are they going to do with a frozen turkey?
How are they gonna cook a frozen
They're put in a microwave.
You're handing out microwaves to homeless people, Jeremy? What are they going to do with them? Well, remember when we bought that unit and then all the fans were like, you should go give them to the homeless people. And they're going to plug it in where?
Yeah.
Like, oh, my goodness. So many people telling us to give. Yeah, so many people telling us, give the microwaves to the homeless. Give the microwaves to the homeless.
Oh, yeah. They'd be pushing the cart
Okay.
with a microwave in it. Come on, people.
That's all they need.
No, you want to help out, you give the money to the shelters. That's what we do. And I don't think the shelter needed how many microwaves were there?
Jeez,
They
I don't
might
even
have
remember.
been able to use 2 or 3 microwaves, but beyond that,
I mean, honestly, George and I should have kept a few, because of down here at Florida. Because now we got the ranch house, we got the schoolhouse, we have Deanna's house. There's 3 buildings there that we could have, microwaves in. But, well, we did bring one. It was from another unit, but it's not one of the brand new ones from that unit. And this one, like, you think it's going to explode on you. So we got to find another one in a unit down here.
I thought this. I was like, why didn't I should have grabbed a microwave, but I didn't even think about it. I was too.
Could have had one for the workplace. Could have had one for the home. Conky got one.
I did. Yeah, we use it every day.
See, Conky was smart. Always thinking Conky. Yeah.
That was my labor for helping load all the other microwaves in the trailer. I got to walk off with one myself.
That was fun though. Giving away all those microwaves, that was fun.
That was ridiculous.
That was crazy.
I was like just thinking about like the crazy is just how many people just start showing up. Like it spread quick. It started off like as a trickle, and then all of a sudden, there was like lines of people just getting microwaves, and I was like, oh.
It's like a fire.
Oh my gosh. I'm looking for I have a clip from the microwave giveaway.
No, you got it?
I got a little.
It was crazy.
Let's see if I can find it.
And now we're doing toys instead of microwaves.
Yeah, when is the toy giveaway coming up soon?
December 16th, coming up soon. We're going to start promoting it tomorrow. Since Thanksgiving will be off of everybody's minds, we'll start promoting it tomorrow. It's going to be, man, I'm telling you, it's going to be fun. I started, it's emotional seeing all these people around the world sending so many gifts for people they don't even know, but they care about them. And there were some Otter Creek residents in our team at the schoolhouse 2 days ago. I started talking to one of the residents, and Deanna and Brian are bringing back the packages, and I'm just like, wow. And, I get choked up. The outpouring of love, I get choked up.
That is awesome, man. It's going to be what an experience. And Guapo's going to be Santa Claus. I mean,
wait, you're telling me there are parents who will let their kids sit on Guapo's lap?
He smells like pine.
What the hell is he doing?
Giving out free microwaves, man.
Have you given away any microwaves yet?
Free microwaves.
Bob, I remember to wear the shirt.
George, it looks great.
First microwave given right here to the cowboy, Mr. DeWitt.
All right, do you guys want a free microwave? 2015 West 53rd.
Cute.
That was when I had a broken foot. I had the peg leg.
You had the peg leg, Mr. DeWitt. He was the first one there. Oh, that was a good time.
That's funny.
What a crazy time.
Well, people were asking how Sammy's doing. Sammy's actually resting comfortably upstairs. He's, we're getting a little food in him. He's doing okay, all things considered.
He ate some turkey.
No, we probably should have tried to give him some turkey, but we're pretty much we have to give him. It's kind of like baby food for dogs.
Yeah,
he pretty much lost his appetite. He's still drinking water though. So,
but eating a little bit, that's something.
Yeah, we're getting him to eat. We're getting his. The doctor gave us some things to help shrink his prostate because his prostate cancer that he's got to help him, and I've got him some of the CBD drops for dogs that are battling cancer. Even though they say he's not going to beat it, which I don't expect him to. We're just trying to keep him comfortable and pain free. So it's a lot for us, it's kind of sad around here, but what are you going to do, but he's comfortable. I'll put it that way. He's comfortable.
Sammy. That's still kicking. That's good.
Yeah, I hate to bring that up and bring the mood down. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, no.
You want me to bring the mood back up?
Yeah,
Anybody see that storage unit I bought this week?
Oh, man.
There's the mood going back up.
There you go.
It was a ridiculous storage unit. But Francis, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm sorry I'm going through that, Conky. And we're all sorry, Conky. You know, we're all praying for you, sending our love and hugs. Trust me, you're man. It was tough watching Saturday. I was over there crying.
So was I.
Yeah, it was tough, man. It was tough. Thank you so much, Francis. And but the storage unit, man.
So
I got a couple of good ones, and then Hales, man, he got another great one. Then people were like, "Did you see Jeremy's unit?" I said, I didn't see it, but he called me up and told me about it. So that was the best part. I'd rather have him personally call me because I call him to tell him about my good units, and he'll call me and tell him about his good units. So it was great. And he called me up and just told me, he's like, "Man, you got to come to Florida, Rob." He's like, "You better grab Conky and move down to Florida and start buying units."
You guys.
Yep. So
I keep telling you guys, man, the best units are down here.
The problem was that Jeremy, he's like, there's so many to pick from. He can only pick one. That was
So
the hard part.
I was just the past half hour I've been going through. What I'll do is I'll look at the next 24 hours, okay? And I'm not even to 24 hours yet. I'm in the next 17 hours, and I've already chosen like 6 that I could buy tomorrow, 2 with safes. That's just tomorrow, okay? And that any of these would be winners, any of them. And people are going, "Man, Jeremy, you're on a streak. The very first 2 you bought in Florida, they're like epic." And they are, but there's so many. And if you go back to the last one I bought in Florida before I even came back to Florida, George and I came for the winter, was the Bear unit with the giant safe. That's 3 huge epic units, huge wins in a row in Florida. And those units are every day.
Yeah, I mean, I tell them all the time, there's just so many people that moved down there that had money. There's going to be a lot more money down there. And, you know, people moved down there. They sold their house in Cleveland and New York City and Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and wherever you want to go. Some cold weather state, moved down there, put the good stuff in, you know, they sold their junk here and took the good stuff down there. They put it in storage, moved to a condo, and then boom, Jeremy buys it. Thanks. Hugs and Conky, Noreen. We know
I was trying to get these guys. Trying to get you guys to buy that church.
Thanks,
so that you guys can buy down here in the winter.
I know. I would already have the church filled. Thanks, Crafty John. And there is so much great stuff in Florida. But a few more years, and then my kids, they'll be old, and then I can go down there. Then I'll be down there playing with Jeremy. Happy Thanksgiving, says Gail Davis. Thank you, Gail Davis. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone watching tonight. Thanks, Gail. And I think it was a happy Thanksgiving overall. I mean, you know, life's one of those things you got to appreciate the things we got. So thank you, Gail. And I definitely, you know, I think I appreciate the day. The family came, you know, and I had a lot of people over and get to enjoy it. And now I get to enjoy this family right here. My 2 brothers, maybe Guapo. Sometime.
So
your brother from another mother.
The question I have for you, Jeremy, is how pissed off was the garbage company at you for providing a hole for them to drive their truck into?
So, okay. Now, those who are at the top tier members and What the Hales, we put out the full 40-minute video of what Deanna actually experienced that day while George and I were in Ocala with this epic unit. And the manager was called. So the driver. Okay, so let me back up. First of all, the portion we got another dumpster this year. We had one, the ARC had one. We got rid of it. Remember, the dump is free here, so we would just go back and forth. And this year, I told the team, I said, listen, I really want to buy the best units, and I want to do it full force. We have the schoolhouse. We have the ability. You know, we're getting caught up where we need to be, although we need tremendous amount of racking and shelving and organization still to get there, but we will get there. And so I was like, let's just get a dumpster. It's probably the smartest thing. We thought that pad was for an old propane tank because earlier, the week before, I pulled out 2 previous propane tank areas that they had. So we thought that was because that's back by the original schoolhouse. And when I say original schoolhouse, in just a couple of years here, it's going to be 100 years old, that portion of the building. So we thought, oh, well, that was an old pad for that, and what have you. And they never said anything when they sold it to us. And their maintenance man took us and explained everything. I had him, and we filmed every single thing in the building, explained everything to me, where it's at. I don't think even he knew that was an old septic tank. And so remember, we had to have a truck drop that dumpster off. Not a problem. I actually had been on that pad nonstop with the Hawk. I actually ripped out a stump. I cleaned it all up. Not a problem. That truck comes, problem. So what I do know is it cost them $1,500 to crane the truck up to get it out. I don't know total how much. I know that because one of the drivers is a fan, and he came by the next day, and he was cracking up, and he's the guy that actually dropped off the dumpster, and he's a fan. And he goes, Jeremy, I could have saved the company $1,500. I could have just pulled them out myself. And he goes, they called me and they said, this is your fault because you put the dumpster back there. And he goes, ain't my fault. I didn't fall through nothing. I know how to drive. And he didn't. He didn't drive over the pad. He was on the side of the pad. This driver drove over the pad, or we would have never even known. So we didn't know, and they didn't know. So ultimately, are they upset that it costs money? Yeah, it costs money, but long term down the road, they're going to make a ton of money from me anyway. And I have filled the entire pad in, which you see that in today's video. It's all filled in. It's safe to drive back there now. So they were upset, but they're getting some good exposure on what the Hales. So Waste Pro, way to go.
Waste Pro, way to go. That sounds like a commercial right there. Waste Pro. There we go. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, that happens sometimes. Concrete stuff cracks. And
Flippin' Adventures, they told me the truck cost $750,000 to purchase. That's actually, if they bought it new, they probably didn't get a rotator. They probably just got a regular dump truck or a regular tow truck. Because that's actually kind of cheap.
Yeah, she'll know. She was there for all of it.
Yeah.
And then George and I are in the unit, and I get a call. She's like, look at this. I was like, whoa, looks like they're in a hole. Gotta go. Like, I'm on the money. I'm sorry.
There's nothing you could do. What are you going to do?
There is nothing I could do. Nothing I could do.
You could call the tow company for him.
Rush back and stand there and scratch your head and then go back out to the storage unit and finish your job.
I was
All you would do is videotape it.
Well, yeah, and she did exactly
what you would do.
She's videoing the entire thing. It's the exact same thing I would have done. I would have videoed the entire thing. Like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this. Well, here we go.
We got some.
All right, we got a garbage truck in the hole in the property.
Down in a hole.
But that unit, man, it's hard to get upset when you got a garbage truck in a septic tank when you're in a unit where you're finding graded 10 cards, you're finding issue 1 comics, you're finding the Never Ending Story autographs, you're finding autographs, sports memorabilia,
Funko Pops.
Funko Pops out. I mean, Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, Stranger Things, Lilo and Stitch, Disney upon Disney upon Disney. We showed today 2 paintings. Okay, those paintings are $1,400 a piece. We paid $1,600. If you really want to know, after all the fees, it was over $1,900 for the storage unit. But those 2 paintings, $1,400 a piece, all brand new. All brand new. There's no personal items in that unit, guys. Like, there is nothing to throw. And we didn't even look at everything. We're like, well, Deanna's just going to go through it and put it on eBay anyway. And he packed it so precisely. Like, it was layer of bubble wrap and then next layer of collectibles, a layer of bubble wrap and the next layer of collectibles. And I was just blown away. Like, it's hard to say whether that one is better than the previous one, where we do have some garbage in it because it was the guy had it since 1997. He passed away. There were some animals in it, but we've been on a run. There's no doubt we've been on a streak. But anybody can come to Florida and go on the same streak. There's so many units to choose from.
There's a lot of good units down there. But I've gotten a couple of good ones lately. That 5x5, I don't know, you probably didn't see the video, but that 5x5. So many collectibles, man. So many collectibles. And no garbage. Just dirt and dust. And dirt and dust. Man, it was dirty. The guy the whole thing I don't know why you have a 5x5 full of all those collectibles. I didn't even look through the cards yet. I know that's the thing. It's like, I know I was looking through, I saw these Tom Brady's, and I'm like, oh, nice.
You're going to have, you're on it, man.
Well, I know I got the one card that I saw graded and went for $700, a LeBron and Kobe card.
Oh, wow.
But, man.
Wow.
The good or bad news was that I was supposed to buy this other unit. And the one box said Pokemon, and I could tell that the mom or parents or something put their kids' stuff in there, and they had the kid's name and stuff on there. And I was bidding on the unit, and I was like, I'm trying not to run it up, and I'm bidding at the last second, bid on it at work, and then boom, someone distracts me for a minute. I go back to bid on it, it's gone. I was like, man, did they pull that unit? Did I miss it? Then my buddy calls me up, Mike. Hey, Rob,
Mike got it.
Mike, he goes, yeah, Rob, I think I got this good unit. I don't know if you've seen it. And it had the box that said Pokemon. I said, I know exact unit because I was bidding on it. And he's like, I paid $330. I said, I know because I was the one bidding against you. Me and you were the only ones bidding on it. I said, I'm glad you got it though, at least. So, but he said, all these collectible Pokemon and stuff like that. He got a bunch of old comic books. He told me there's lots of first edition Pokemon. He said he's bringing me all kind of stuff to look at Monday.
Wow.
So, but he said it was unbelievable, all kind. And I was like, that should have been my unit too. But like I said, sometimes we miss. You guys know how it is. You've missed units before, and
Well, there was a unit this week, and Flippin Adventures is in the chat, and George is next to me, and they can confirm this. But there's a unit this week. I actually won it before in Florida last season. And then they pulled it. It got paid for. And I wanted to buy it again. And, at some point, what people probably don't understand is we're in full remodel mode of the schoolhouse and buying units. Normal people go home and watch TV. They crash after 8 hours. That's not my normal life. It is, all right, let's try and get this done. We got to get this accomplished. And then you guys know, I'm up sometimes all night. There's multiple nights that already, since we've been back for a month, 4 weeks, I haven't gotten no sleep because I have to edit and I have to do social media work and I have to, all of this stuff, it takes time and it takes people and all of this is going on. So there are times when there's good units. I just can't. It's too much in the schedule, even though I want to. And so I wish Rob and Conky were down here and I could be like, Rob, you have to get this one. I can't handle it right now. Conky, you've got to get this one. I can't handle it. These guys they should get that church. They should set it up as a warehouse. Man.
I don't know if that church would be big enough for me.
Yeah.
Probably not. If you were both buying, probably not.
But you already know how I am.
That church isn't still available anyway, is it?
As far as I know, it's still available.
Yeah.
I have not heard of it selling. I can't handle 2 big buildings remodels at the same time because I'm doing a lot of it myself. And we have a ton of volunteers that are helping as well. And we have a lot of good help coming in. But, all the destruction, there's things that you can, the destruction, ripping stuff out, sweating, making things dirty, making a mess, and then you bring in professionals to make it clean again. But there's a lot that we can do on our own, and we're gonna, at the end of it, we'll probably end up putting, I would say we're gonna put anywhere from 250,000 back into the building, if not more. But that building is going to be amazing. And it already is. It's a fun hangout place.
It's amazing already. And then it's going to be even better. That place is cool. Only thing he needs is a bowling alley, but we already talked about that before.
We're getting there, man. And our neighbors up north, when we concrete the floor in the hallway, I had to promise them we would put shuffleboard in there too.
Nice.
So you want bowling, they want shuffleboard.
Now, just Jeff this week, he was telling me, he goes, everyone says, don't worry about it because you'll sleep when you're dead or you'll relax when you're dead. What happens if they're wrong? And when you're dead, the only thing you got to do is even more work. It was just so funny. He's just like, what happens if they're wrong? I'm planning on this whole thing. And if I die and I'm going to go there, be like ready to relax and take it easy. And I just got to do more work.
You're fun employed. You're relaxing, taking it easy as it is, right?
No, he loves doing the job and the YouTube, and we had a lot of fun this week. We had the one house, the lady, she got put into hospice, and she was in assisted living kind of place. So family calls to ask if we could clean out the place. So they ended up paying us $400 to clean out the place, and they were cleaning out. The lady actually passed away that day, 102 years old.
Wow.
Yes. So unbelievable. And, my line of work, it's just that stuff I deal with, and see, a lot of people don't understand because, people are like, oh, Rob, I've had people say before, I can't believe, people die. You're going through this stuff. I'm providing a service. First of all, the family, a lot of times they don't want to deal with it. It's so emotional. It's tough. Number two is they have financial obligation to this facility. And I don't know how much, if anyone has anyone that's in a facility or ever pay one of these facilities, but they're $3,000 to $5,000 a month. They're not cheap. Most of them range around $5,000. Some even go up to, I heard, $10,000 a month, depending on the care. So an extra month in one of these places is not like, oh, it's extra $1,000 or something. It's thousands of dollars. So they need that one cleaned out. Some people are like, well, how can they even think about that when the mom's, going through all stuff? Because it's part of life, people. So, and I'm the guy that comes in, and they hired me to come in. It wasn't a lot of stuff there. It's not a great, and then the day I'll make a little bit of money, and there was some jewelry that was there, some gold and stuff like that. So, but I'm not going to make a lot of money, but I provide the service to the family. They don't have to worry about it. They're so relieved. They're so happy that someone's coming in and taking this stuff, going to give it a second life. And it's not going to the trash too. Because that's another thing I provide is where opportunity where the stuff is actually going to get saved instead of just going to a landfill because, they move out and they don't do anything. The workers there are going to take what they want and everything else is going to the trash.
Yeah, there's so many things that you do to help people. And I mean, if you want to jump on the environment movement, which I know people are more conscientious about the environment now and being a steward of the environment, we're in that business of making sure it doesn't damage the environment and somebody else loves that item.
And it's the great thing is also, when I get to see people sometimes pick up items and they're like, oh, I've been looking for this forever, or I had this when I was a kid, the excitement sometimes, this object, it's just objects. And at the end of the day, it's just stuff, but something to you, like a Garbage Pail Kid to Jeremy, or Redline Hot Wheel to Conky, or Batman comic book 10 cent to me, it just brings out some kind of excitement, and everyone has those different things that gets them excited.
Apparently, Nightmare Before Christmas gets a tremendous amount of people excited because everybody wants to buy this huge Nightmare Before Christmas collection that we found. Like, it's crazy.
It seemed like a lot of it was that of the video I watched. Like 80% of it was Nightmare Before Christmas.
You're probably right. It might be a little less than that, but I mean, who cares, right? But the dude spent good money on good collectibles. And
on this unit, did you ever figure out how this guy got his money?
We know he's a gay man. And what do we all know? What do we know about, so part of buying storage units is profiling, okay? And normally when we talk about profiling in our culture, that's a negative thing. But when you're buying a storage unit, it's a positive thing. And one of the things that we constantly share is gay men have incredible taste. Like, and it ain't the cheap stuff. They go high end. Like, they know what's good and they spend their money on it. And so for a treasure hunter going, man, this is the greatest guy in the world. Yeah, this guy knew what was good and he collected it. We do not know where he is. He is completely disappeared. Manager doesn't know where he is. Completely disappeared. There's no death notice. There's nothing in jail, which we always talk about, right? It's divorce, detainment, death, the D's. There's nothing. It's the other D that we rarely ever talk about, but we put it in our title today. He literally just disappeared. Nobody knows where he's at.
So I know the stuff from my unit. I know a couple people asking about a couple items already. That stuff's all gonna be coming out in January auction. We're gonna do a huge collectible. This guy had tons of collectible toys, and I had the 2 units back to back. One had the horror stuff in there, and the other one had all the sports and the Batman stuff. So all that stuff will be going in, except for maybe the Batman stuff. Might disappear. It might already be in my basement. I'm not going to say anything about it.
It's not behind you up there, is it? I don't know.
So, oh man, I did buy some stuff this week. I bought this.
Oh, nice.
Full screen myself.
Neat.
This is a little
Health Center.
number 15. First appearance of Craven comic book Batman. I mean, Spider-Man. I said Batman. So, and then, because you can get some deals on eBay. So I bought it on eBay, and then I usually don't buy anything on eBay, but I've been buying some comic books just to fill some voids in my collection.
How much did you pay for that one?
200 and let me double check. I don't want to tell you the wrong number. But the worst is I bought something off this guy on eBay, and he never sent it, never anything. And he communicated with me once, but it was like really weird communication. And then, I finally got my money back. But my thing is, I didn't want my money. I wanted the stuff I bought.
You wanted the item, yeah.
So it was like 60 comic book lot. And the guy, he had 800 something sold. At the time I purchased it, he had 100 rating. And then I seen now he's got a bunch of negatives. So I don't know what happened to the guy.
Maybe something medical happened.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe something like that. $280 for the book. It's probably worth about maybe 400 or 500. So I just seen one that was graded a 1 sell for like 400.
Wow.
That one's graded maybe like a 2.5, 3.
Jeff said in the chat, he said, well, maybe this dude's last name was Hoffa. Well, reality is this. It's very, very close. It's very, very close. So there were 2 boxes. The only thing I could see in this unit were 2 boxes. And the last name started with an H. And I'm like, that is not a word. That is not a word. I'm telling George as I'm looking at him, like, I have no idea what this word is. And then Kobe was on a box. And I'm like, there's no way this can be Kobe Bryant. But the unit looks so clean. And I counted 15 plus, black and yellow totes. And then there was racking in the back and the totes were on it. So, again, I'm profiling, right? It's a positive aspect of profiling. So what I'm thinking is, okay, somebody who has a storage unit, by the way, these are the little ridiculous details that make me want to bid on something. So somebody who has a storage unit, who has totes, if it's worth money, they would go out and buy racks and make sure that those heavy totes didn't crush each other and crush what's inside of it. So that's what's going through my mind. Somebody spent the money to put these on racks. That must be the most expensive stuff in the back because they didn't want the totes to crush. And they spent hundreds of dollars. I don't know, maybe $500 on totes, maybe less, maybe more. I don't know. But they spent hundreds of dollars on totes. Most people don't spend hundreds of dollars on totes if they have cheap stuff. They want to protect it. And that's where I told George, when I was bidding, I started bidding, it was at $390. And I told her, I was like, I think I can get this for $400. And then it kept going and going and going. And it was at $1,500. And I told her, I was like, I'm done at $1,500. I said, this whole thing could be filled with books or clothing, even worse, clothing. And I'm like, this whole thing could be, I was like, $1,500. We cannot afford to lose $1,500. And she's like, oh, come on. You already said that you thought it could potentially go for $2,000. And I said it would go for that, but I don't want to pay it. And so she talked me into one more, which I'm thankful. Yeah, it can go either which way. You get in and you're like, oh no, this is the worst mistake of my life. Or you get in, you're like, oh, this is the smartest thing I've ever done. You just don't know until you get there.
I've said that many times to Jeff. I said, this is either going to be the best or the worst unit. It's just going to go either way. It's not going to be like, oh, it's going to be okay. It's going either.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep. You guys know.
Oh, we've been there. We've been there plenty of times.
Yes, we have.
It's scary.
It's scary.
It's not often you get a Vince unit like Conky did for $50.
No.
You know from the get-go it's going to be an amazing unit.
Well, there was no mystery now whatsoever. That was. I'm so surprised I got it. It was $55. I'm so surprised I got it for that.
That's because Jeremy stopped bidding.
Well, probably because Jeremy stopped bidding, but there are other people there. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but
sometimes it shocks you. Sometimes at an auction, that's why I love going to live auctions. There's a lot going on. I can tell you one thing that's happened so many times. People get distracted at a live auction. They'll be talking to so-and-so, and they'll go look at the unit, but they're not focused on the unit. And Jeremy knows exactly what I'm talking about because there's times that him and I are the same way. We're focused. We'll go and look, and we're trying to go like analyze and look for like, okay, I see this little tiny thing over here. It's just like we're analyzing unit. They'll go and look up real quick, and then they just keep talking. And that one little thing is a difference to hitting that really great unit sometimes and not. And I could just think of one time I go to Shane, I show him the one you did online. I said this unit right here, and he goes, "What? Why? I don't see anything in this unit." You see that right there? That's a part of a He-Man toy. If that guy has that part of a He-Man toy, we're sitting right there. There's no way that's gonna be the only He-Man toy he has in that unit. There's no way. And I bought that unit. Yeah, he had, I think, 40 or 50 figures. I know 50 figures, 40 of them complete.
Wow.
He-Man figures. All because and that unit was unbelievable. I think it was like $15,000-$20,000 in toys. And Shane was just like, man, all because that one thing, but I knew what it was. Most people didn't even know what it was, but I had the thing when I was a kid. I knew exactly. Just seeing that little piece, I go, Shane, I'm like, here, watch. I pulled up on my phone. He goes, oh, that is what it is. I'm like, exactly. But it's sitting on an angle. It's not sitting on like how it's supposed to be. You could just see a little piece of it sitting out of a box. But because of that one thing, by me analyzing, and that's why sometimes I'm like, I get mad at myself because, there's so many units online nowadays, and it's so hard to sit there and like click through and analyze every unit. So you got to go through and try to do like a quick visual analyzation, and then like something that pops out. I don't know how you are, Jeremy, but you know what I'm saying? There's so many units out there. Obviously you can't look at every picture of every unit.
So that's a good question. I'm going to tell you how I filter it out for myself, and I'm curious how you guys do. So there's so many here. I will use other people's eyes to be the first filter for me. So when I'm going through, if the unit isn't at $100 or over, then I won't even look at it because it's overwhelming how many are here. And so that doesn't mean there's not good units under $100. There's probably great units and people are scoring huge. I just can't look at it all. And so I let them be the filter. And then I go, okay, anything over $100, I go is worth looking at. That's how I start to filter it. I'm curious how you guys do.
I'm similar in that way. But first I'll go through and I'll start looking, and then if something grabs my eye, something like little, something I see like a comic book box or something I think's a comic book box or something little that just gets my eye, or if there's bids on the unit, like you said, if it's over $100, $200. Especially the units when you see them at like $500, everything's like 10, 20, 20, 20, 500, 5. You're like, wait a second, let me go click on it. But lately, almost all those units have been shoes and shoes and shoes.
Dude,
I don't know, man. People
Nike
go crazy on shoes. What's that, Jerry?
Nike collections. Like everybody's losing their Nike collections and storage units.
And I'm afraid because the one guy brought me all these shoes he got out of a storage unit. Almost all of them were fake. And they were easy to tell they're fake. I mean, the sewing on the Nike, it's like, it wasn't even complete. I mean, it just looked bad. Like the guy, like the jump man.
It was a douche.
The jump man was bad. It was just all, I'm like, oh my God, these are really bad fakes. But They're out there, man. And that's the thing. Anything with value has fakes. You got to be careful.
So do you think that, I guess to answer Jeremy's question, I kind of do the same thing, but I'll look at, if I ever do look at units online, which I don't do that often. The one that I bought, I got there and everything was stolen anyway. But when I do look at units online, I kind of take a really quick look at everything, but I'll pay more attention to the ones that are getting bids, if for no other reason to kind of try to figure out why, what one little nugget in there is everybody bidding on.
And
there's a lot of times somebody has different information. You don't know what they're bidding on. Like Rob knows stuff that I don't know. Conky knows stuff that I don't know. They can see something that I look at and I go, that's garbage. And they go, no, that's gold.
Well, you remember when we were bidding on that unit in Worcester, and you were bidding on the KISS stuff, and I was looking at the car parts. Yep. I didn't really even see what you were bidding on, and you thought the stuff I wanted was junk, which to you it probably was, but
to Conky it's worth money. I don't care to sell car parts. Yeah. I just don't. Car parts are a lot of money. I just don't care.
I don't care to sell generic car parts, but when I know what it is and it's like 40 years old, it's a specific thing that I know that this particular car has a cult following, and I know I can get $40 out of this little molding. There's a stack of them there. I'll buy those all day long and just
Well, you sold a lot more car stuff than Jeremy and I. Like I said, I'm with Jeremy. I'm just like, it's not this thing. I'm like small collectibles. That's my favorite.
Small. Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it is just having been around cars when they were new that people are collecting now and actively trying to find parts for. I can look at a stack of parts and in a lot of cases know exactly what it fits. And usually if they're being stored, it's because they're worth something anyway. People don't put away parts for old K cars and Chevy Cavaliers. You know what I mean? They don't do that. They put away stuff for old Cadillacs, Monte Carlos, the Caprices, the Chargers and Camaros and
you Trans Am. My storage unit full of Dodge Neon parts.
Oh my God, that would just be one big trip to the dump.
Oh man, darn it! I thought that was going to be the next collector car when I'm older. Everyone's going to want a Dodge Neon like they had when they were a kid.
No, but I mean, like when I found that one unit that I bought had a Subaru in it that was taken apart, and the only thing you could really recognize from like the outside, from the thumbnail picture, was when a Subaru is taken apart, it has these sort of triangle shaped holes where the headlights go. And I don't know of any other car that looks like that when it's taken apart. So that's what drew my eye to it. And, when I looked, I'll tell the story again in case you haven't seen the video. We identified between $6,000 and $10,000 worth of parts in that unit that were all gone when I went to pick it up.
And Conky loves Subarus.
Well, I like the money that they generate if you get them cheap enough. You know what I mean? In a parts, I know guys that will buy a complete running, perfectly nice Subaru for $15,000. And I mean, you could jump in this thing and drive it anywhere, and they'll take it apart and they'll sell the parts off it and wind up with $25,000, $30,000 in their pocket. It's like a lot of things that we talked about where the sum of the parts are worth more than the whole.
The actual whole, yeah.
You got there, Rob.
Oh, so my couple things here I'll show you. So there's a couple things I got from that unit. Barry Bonds rookie graded a 9 PSA. This one's pretty cool. The Walter Payton 1976 disc graded a 9.
A disc, that's just a paper disc? That's not like a
Crane potato chips, Conky.
Okay.
So a lot of these were destroyed, ruined. So, and then I got this very cool. I got 2 of these actually. And the guy he had tons of LeBron stuff. So this is when LeBron won the high school championship, and it was given out in the back. This is a thing. It's got the little stickers on there, but it says it was given out by the athletic club from St. Vincent, St. Mary.
Wow.
And then I bought this. Went a little crazy, but
20 center, 8.5.
yeah, first appearance of the Punisher.
The Punisher.
So it's probably like, you know, it depends, $3,000-$4,000 comic book.
Wow.
So it's very cool.
Found a Punisher t-shirt in that unit this week too.
That unit is awesome.
Never saw that.
I know. I'm about to move to Florida just because these units. My kids are gonna be like, "Dad, where are you at?" In Florida with Hales. Buying good units, kids.
I'm telling you, there's like 6
college.
units I could already buy tomorrow. Even though I know, like, here's my thing. I'm like, okay, there are other things I need to do tomorrow. George and I were going to work today, and we decided, okay, we really do need a day off. And we were hanging out with the Ryan Bell family, you know, Bubba Q's family, and we had a ton of fun there. And so we decided, okay, let's just chill. We even took a nap, cuddled, fell asleep, took a nap, you know. So that's we haven't been able to do that since we got here. So I know I should work on other things tomorrow, but dude, I can't stop looking at these units, man. Like I can't stop looking at them.
Yeah, trust me, it put me a week behind catalog and auction because I was over there looking and buying units, and I was like, but the thing is, like, it's, you know, they're out there all the time, but like in Ohio, how it works, it goes like this. Like every month it goes, you know, there's like, okay, this company releases their units, and then this company releases theirs, and then there's no, you know, so there's spots, there's no units or no good units for, you know, days sometimes or weeks. So it's tough.
And for me, don't misinterpret this, okay? But for me, it's not really about the money. And this is why I don't want you to misinterpret this. We have to make money, okay? When I tell you we can't afford to lose $1,500, we can't afford to lose $1,500. We have so many things going on. We have so many irons in the pot. It's not about the money, and we have to generate money. We have a responsibility to employees. We have a responsibility to our communities that we live in. We want to help people. We want to pay it forward, and it takes money and income to do all of those things. But it's not about the money for me, even though we need it. We have to have it. It's just stinking fun to score. Like, it's just so fun.
Yeah, it's the thrill of the hunt, isn't it?
It is. And then when, you know, like we got Sean Goodman down here, he's helping us on that first one, and we got him, you know, you get more buddies around it and more friends around it and having more fun, and it's just fun. Score after score, find after find. And you have to generate income, okay? We have to. We as a business, if we don't have income, we can't accomplish anything. Okay, it takes money in this world, unfortunately. You know, I wish the world ran on laughs, because if it did, we'd all be even laughing even more. But it's so much fun. Man, look at that thing.
Someone was asking about it, but
well, you know, in a way, Jeremy, the way the world runs on laughs is if you don't laugh every once in a while, you're going to die. You know, that's what keeps you going sometimes.
Yeah. And
yeah, for sure.
But on Jeremy's point, I mean, him and I both have the financial responsibilities every month, whether we make any money or not. Those financial responsibilities got to still be met. Most people have that way, but I'm just saying we have multiple employees that are relying on us to provide them a living, you know. And if, you know, I'm saying there's not just like one or two. And those employees have families and also, I mean, it's a big trickle effect. So it's not like, you know, if we decide, hey, let's just take off a month and not generate income and no money, and everyone else just take off the month, they can't take off the whole month. So it's one of those things. It's I try to tell people, it's like, how much money I got to make just to break even every month,
Yes.
it would blow most people's heads off. I would just be like this. They couldn't have fathomed that much amount of money that you have to create just to break even.
Well, and I say this to Christian and patients, and Christian and patients are younger, and I've been trying to teach them a lot of business principles through this, and I tell them all the time, I go, guys, if we generate $1 million, if we have a business that generates $1 million, but our expenses are $950,000, that's $50,000 of profit that has to go. You split between employees. We can't just generate, we have to generate enough to pay for everything. And expenses are huge. Like my expenses, Rob will share this openly as well, but the average salary in the United States, my monthly expenses are more than the average salary, the yearly salary in the United States. And if I don't work, I'm not generating income. And if I'm not generating income, I can't pay those expenses. And so that's a huge responsibility when you're caring for other people who are in part caring for you, helping your business grow and generate income. And those are people, they have lives. Like Rob said, they have families, they rely on you. And so while it's good to take a day off, there is an aspect where I go, okay, I probably shouldn't take too many days off. I got to keep going. So, because people rely on you.
Yeah, they're relying. I mean, that's just the simple fact. I mean, you got a lot of people relying on you in the end of the day, and you're relying on yourself too.
And who knows when COVID is going to happen again, right? Who foresaw COVID happening? Because I pushed and I was driven, was the aspect of where we met Christian and patients, and they were tenants, and I was able to tell them, all right, you don't have to pay me rent. You can come work it off, sweep the floors, which then became full-time employees. It's because I kept working. COVID didn't stop me. COVID actually pushed me forward, and we never know what's going to happen next in this world. Everything's so unpredictable.
And like you said, you never know what could happen anytime. So we always got to be prepared. And that's like me, because people are always like, well, Rob, you got enough stuff. Why you buy anything? And it's like, well, I mean, one, I love buying stuff and I'm trying to find stuff. But the other point is I'm always trying to stay ahead, because there's times, I mean, it sounds crazy, but there's times I've seen Ohio's different than Florida, okay? Every month or so, there's no good units or that good of units out there. There's nothing. Like if I try to live off of units in Ohio only, I would be out of business by now. It's almost impossible in Ohio to just make it off storage units, because there's just not that many good units. Now, Florida's a different story. There's a lot more wealth in Florida, so there's going to be a lot more units in Florida that are good. Ohio's not a very wealthy state in the first place. If you look at the states and medium income or whatever else, Ohio's not in the top 10 or 15 or 20 states. You know what I'm saying? So
make sure you emphasize that for any of the fans that are always out there, or the trolls out there going, Jeremy's rich, he can do this, he throws money around. Listen, I work hard for what God has blessed me with, and I try and bless others with it. That's what it comes down to. And Ohio is not a rich state.
It's not. It's just not a wealthy state. And I explain it to people all the time, because I do online auctions, obviously, and I've had people come in, hey, people paid more than you could get it on eBay for. I was like, well, some people out there, and I explain this, I tell people all the time why they should pick my auction company to sell stuff, because I get people from all over the country. In Ohio, $500,000 house. Like, this is how I explain it to my customers out there. I said a $500,000 house in Ohio is a great, awesome house. Unbelievable. I mean, you could get some amazing
mansion in Ohio.
500,000. You go to California, you go to New York, you go to Chicago and places, Miami, $500,000 ain't going to get you anything. A very little tiny postage stamp, 600 square foot, 700 square foot. So that's what I try to explain to people. I said, for them to spend, an extra $100 on a collectible, more than you're going to spend, it's nothing to them. Where, their house, you're living in a $300,000 house, they're living in a $3 million house. It's just the way perspective of life. But, over there, they're paying $6 for gas. You're paying $3 for gas. I mean, it's just So for them to pay an extra $50 or $100 on something where you're like, man, that's more, you could go get it cheaper on eBay. To them, it's like, that's not a big deal. They're going to pay to ship it too. That's the other crazy thing.
So the Atlanta Flippers had mentioned they're going to try and hire their first employee this upcoming year. So here's this is just one of my philosophies. It's a personal philosophy. Back in the day, companies actually used to have for lifers with your companies. And what I mean is your employees would work for a company for life. And those companies actually valued the employees. They would provide housing. And I've tried to take some of that philosophy in with my employees as well. Like Christian and Patience, I offer them housing and the salary. Deanna, I offer housing and the salary. And you get to see in today's video the transition of painting Deanna's kitchen. But the reason behind that, whether how good the housing, how bad the housing, whatever the housing, the reason behind that is because I don't want my employees to ever have to think, how am I going to make my house payment? How am I going to pay the mortgage? What I want them to focus on is I don't have to worry about paying the mortgage. I don't have to worry about paying the electric. I don't have to worry about paying utilities. And guess what they get to focus on? How are we going to make the business money? And that way I try and alleviate. So Atlanta Flippers, this is what I'm trying to share with you in a nutshell. If I can alleviate any concerns or any potential fears for my employees, which I know right now you're going, man, Deanna probably is scared all the time living in Otter Creek with some of those freaks. But if I can eliminate the fears for the employees, financial fears in that way of how am I going to pay a mortgage? How am I going to, then I open them up to go, okay, well, how can we generate more money? How can we do more for the business? And how can we grow it? We have to generate money to keep moving forward. So that's part of my philosophy in offering housing.
Yeah, and I just want to say because everyone always thinks I'm going to hire employees and that's going to solve my problems. Because I know so many people like I have multiple people came to me this year and tell me they tell me, they go, Rob, I want to be like you. Okay. It sounds great. It's like, oh, I got this big warehouse. I got all these people working, all this other stuff. Okay. But I've been doing this for 15 years. Okay. They didn't see all the times and tribulations. And when there was times I didn't even pay myself months, years. Okay. I never paid myself. Why? I paid my employees. Okay. I never paid myself a dime. I'm paying them. I make the money from the auction right to pay employees. Everything else is just like, so it's great to have employees, but number one, if you're gonna have employees, number one, have a plan. Okay, because a lot of people are like, I have employees. Okay, employees need to have structure, and they need to have a plan. You have to have, okay, this is what I expect from you and what I want from you. Because if you don't have those things set up right from the beginning, you're not going to be successful with having employees. And then the second thing about employees is, I'm very bad at this because I'm a really nice guy, and these guys can both admit it. I'm a nice guy. But there comes times where you can't be a nice person, and there's times that you have to be the tough person. And I've had to fire employees, multiple employees. And like I said, the staff I have now is the best staff I ever had. But I've had a lot of staff between when I started and now. Okay, it's not like these are the guys I started with, so.
Can you give me some pointers on how to fire George?
Okay. She'll probably fire you first. So I would watch out, Mr. Hales.
She always asks every day if I'll fire her.
I don't blame her.
She wants to collect unemployment.
Unemployment and fun employment.
And then I always tell her I'm going to file harassment charges on her.
And I always say, where's the HR department?
I always tell her I'm going to file harassment charges on her with the HR department.
We used to do that. We had they're like, who's the HR here? My brother used to be HR, and then he left. So now Joe's HR.
How do I collect unemployment being unemployment?
Yeah, so I mean, your employees. I mean, obviously, it's great to have employees. Just that, like I said, it's just one of those things. I know a lot of people out there are always like, I want to get an employee, and they think it's going to solve, like I said, their issues or problems. It can free up your time, And then when you free up your time, the thing is, I have people like, oh, they want employees for they don't have to work. So, to me, it's like I got employees where I can expand, not me do less.
Well, here's a funny little story about kind of touching on what you just said. A long time ago, I used to work for a dealership.
Do you have your nail clippers?
And it was a cold, rainy day, and we were all out. I was just a lowly, I just took care of the used cars. We were all out on the used car lot moving a fence, and it was November, and it was raining. And it was me, the guy that worked under me, and the owner of the dealership out there. And at some point in time, when we're all soaked like drowned rats, I looked at the owner of the dealership. It's actually the founder's grandson, but he ran the place. I said, Mike, I know why I'm out here, and I know why Rob's out here, but why are you out here? I said, your name's on the door. I'll never forget what he said. He says, I will never ask any of my people to do something that I'm not willing or able to do for myself. So the moral of that story is, don't hire somebody and then ask them to do something you can't do. That's just a losing proposition from the very beginning.
So we've actually had this conversation before, and I disagree with Conky. The best bosses hire people to do things they can't do. So I'll tell this to George all the time as well. By the way, it's not easy working with a significant other who well, just many couples can do it, and then there are some personalities that don't always, do it well. And so I have to share this all the time, because the mentality in today's culture and workplace is my boss exists to help me do my job. And that is completely and totally wrong. Your boss hired you to do a job so they don't have to do it. So I have to emphasize that with I've had to emphasize that in employees multiple times. I hired you to do if I needed to do this. It's not to say that I can't, but there are things that I can't do, and I look for that specialist who can do it. Or there are things I should not be doing, even as the boss. There are things that my time is not best doing. My time is best doing other things that I'm really good at. And so I understand Conky's intention completely and understand where he's coming from in the aspect of humility and saying, I'll never degrade my employees and things along those lines. But I also firmly believe that employers hire employees to do things so that they can do what they are best at, so that they can maximize their time. Because if I have to work with every single employee, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think the point is, and I've actually gone against that rule once in my life and paid for it. If you have an employee that's doing something for you and you're not willing or able to do it for yourself, if that employee walks, you're stuck. You have to figure out how to do it for yourself, even if it's just until you hire somebody else to do it. So I always looked at it from that angle. I one time had a business where I was doing like home improvements, roofs and siding and windows and stuff like that. And I hired some guys to go up on a roof that I wasn't willing to go up on myself. It was just too steep. And they got out there and they started working on it, and they decided it was too steep for them too, and they just left. And I was standing there staring at a house that the roof was torn off of and not put back onto. And that's when those words that I had heard probably 20 years earlier really hit home. You know what I mean? So, I eventually found somebody to do it, and thankfully I found somebody to do it before it rained, and all was okay. But I remembered that. And then, I remember that, and I remember the words from before, and just thought, well, that's a lesson driven home.
Yeah, it's definitely both ways. I mean, you got to get to the point, like Henry Ford, for example. The one time they had the thing, and someone comes in there, some smart reporter person, and asks them something, and they're like, he goes, I don't know, and they're like, ha, you own this company, you don't know the answer. He goes, watch this. Push the button. This guy comes in. Guy walks in. He goes, asks him the question. The guy goes, da 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 da. He goes, all right, leaves. He goes, I don't need to know that. I have that guy to know that stuff. I have more important things to do than worry about that. And so his point was he would hire people to fill all the stuff, or he would have to focus on what was the most important for the company.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so his point to the reporter, and that just goes to show you, but I was always under that, I worked in the hotel industry, and I was the guy, there'd be times I'd be in a suit and tie washing dishes, helping the dishwashers because we had a huge bank, whatever, everybody else. And I'm in a suit and tie washing dishes, and everybody there respected me, and everyone there loved me, and I always thought Rob was a great manager. He would do anything with everybody else, So that part, I won the people's heart because they were like, Rob, he's not a manager. Because some managers were like, oh, go do this, and then they'd go to their office and drink a coffee,
Well, the bigger your organization gets, the more specialized the positions get. Like, I've had hundreds of employees. There is no way, and again, I understand completely the intent in what Conky is saying, and Rob just emphasized it. And are you humble enough to put yourself, really what it comes down to, are you humble enough to put yourself in the labor position and not I'm the almighty sitting behind a desk and don't ask me to do something like that position? Versus I'm hiring people to pour concrete. Jeremy, would you do that? No, not at all. I'm hiring people to pour concrete at the schoolhouse. I will not do that. Why won't I do it? Do you realize I am putting over $100,000 into pouring concrete at the schoolhouse? I cannot pour concrete or have the knowledge to work with concrete or the skill to work with concrete like these individuals do. I will watch them. I will film them. I will get them a water if they need it. And I will not be working with the concrete because they are specialized. They do this for a living. They know everything. Concrete's starting to set. We got to get it over here. Now we're losing time here. We got to get pigment here. We have to move here. I should be nowhere near that, even though could I?
Well,
let me guess. You probably don't even do your own cavities, do you?
Well, I mean, the difference is obviously
you go to a dentist. Get out of here.
But the difference is you don't own a concrete company. You're just hiring a contractor to come in and do the concrete. Now, if you own the concrete company, you better damn well know how to do every part of that job.
I completely and totally disagree being a boss and hiring. Actually, I've hired well over 1,000 employees. My job as a boss is not to know every position. My job as a boss is to find the right person with the skill set for that position so I don't have to know that position. So I am very much so on the Henry Ford side of things. And because my job is to steer the ship and find everybody who can help the ship move forward. And what am I good at? There's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much skill that I have in certain areas. I find the person that's very good at it and move them forward and have them help move the position forward. So I don't buy into current culture of if my boss isn't helping, this is my job. I got hired. My manager won't help me. Your boss and your manager hired you to do the job. It's not that they're not going to help you. They're going to give you guidance, but they're not going to do your job for you. They have their own job to do. So I understand the intent. We've had this whole conversation on AA before. It is a very, very different philosophy in leadership versus I'm going to be right there. And I call that micromanagement. I mean, and versus empowering people. I'm very much on the side of empowering employees to do what I hired them to do. And if they can't succeed in it, then I have to fire them. So I'm gonna give you an example, Conky. As a matter of fact, Flippin Adventures knows that one of my buddies was just here yesterday and spent almost 8 hours at the schoolhouse visiting me. I hired that individual, and he is a friend. I hired that individual to do a job for me. Okay, and this was in a company that I hired well over 1,000 employees. That individual could not do that job that I hired him to do. And by the way, I could not do it either. Okay. But he failed at that position. I fired him. I fired him because he was the wrong fit for the job. And that job did not get done until I found another person who is the right fit for that job. Today, he and I are still very close. And we spent almost 8 hours together yesterday praying for each other at the end of that time. So that's the philosophy I fit with leadership or in a entrepreneurship, or which is, I know there's two different philosophies. I very much so fit on the Ford side of things.
Right. And there's definitely two philosophies. But I mean, there's things that, you know, for example, okay, you own the concrete company, you should know how everything is done. But as a guy that owns a concrete company, you don't know how to do the marketing, so you got to hire someone to do marketing. You know how to do your website, so you got to hire someone to do the website. And there's no sense for you to learn how to do websites because that's not your job. Your job's concrete.
Right,
You're hiring marketing.
But you're not hiring an employee to do that and paying employee taxes. You're hiring a contractor.
Hold a second. I owned a business and I hired an entire media department to make videos for me, internet, website. None of it. And they worked in-house for me. I knew nothing about it at all. I knew nothing about it.
Then how did you know if they were doing their job?
Because they would come to me and say, this is what we got. Do you like it? And I would go, we still had daily meetings. Okay, this is what we're working on. This is what we're accomplishing. And this is where we're heading. These are the timelines that we have. These are the events we have to market. This is the brochure head. This is what we need to do on the update on the website. I mean, there's all kinds of jobs there, but I don't know anything about building a website or building. I didn't even know how to make a YouTube video at that time. And I had a whole video department. I knew nothing about it.
Well, yeah, when you work in a corporation, there's all these different departments. Like I worked in a hotel. We had 500 employees. We had an audio visual department, for example. I didn't know how to hook up all the audio visual stuff and everything else. I knew it got done because the guy had the projector and it went, boop, okay, it worked. So everything's good. And I don't have the clients complaining to me as the manager, you know, but things like that. I mean, there's a lot of people you hire when you get a big, there's a lot of different hats that people can wear and there's no way you're going to know how to do them all. The goal is to hopefully you know how to hire the right people to do it. That's the goal.
I don't even know how to make thumbnails, Conky.
That's right.
I don't know how to make thumbnails. I have an employee whose sole responsibility in what the Hales Corporation is to make thumbnails.
The whole job is just to make thumbnails?
You know how to make them. They're just not good.
Excuse me, what was that, employee?
You know how to make thumbnails. It doesn't mean that they're good.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. So I guess I got fired at making thumbnails.
So, but everybody, we appreciate everybody checking out. I mean, awesome Thanksgiving. I know it's already getting late. Before Hales cuts off on us, we'll have them actually here for prayer tonight.
You guys think that me and Jeremy were arguing? I just did that to get him to stay on past 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Oh, this is not argument. This is called thoughtful conversation. And the thing is, the thing about this, like it's just like anything. There's different ways to think about it. There's different ways.
Conky and I are friends. We'll always be friends. We weren't even arguing. There's just different philosophies in leadership.
And the Conky's philosophy, it wasn't that Conky said, this is my philosophy. He just said, this is a guy he worked for. The guy said, Conky asked him, why are you out here? And the guy told him, and obviously it made a profound effect on Conky. Like, wow, this guy's out here because he cares about the company.
And Conky's saying something very valuable. He's saying, I will never ask an employee to do what I'm not willing to do myself. I'm saying on the other end, there's only so much time in the day. I can't do that with the scale of employees that I have had in the past, or honestly, that I currently have. There is nothing I can do with my employees in Ohio right now. I'm not in Ohio. I can't say, well, I'm not willing to go and do that with them. So Conky's saying the right thing. He's never going to degrade an employee and say, I'm going to make you do this, but I would never do it myself. And I'm saying, you know, at a certain size in your business, you can't do everything and you can't know everything. And therefore I have to have an employee that's specialized to do those things. So we're saying the same thing differently.
Right. And there's going to be times if you want to grow in anything else in life and business, there's going to be things you're never going to know how to do or anything else. And there's times you have to hire people, or there's things that you're not going to want to do. Like, for example, I don't want to ship. Okay. So my business partner does all the shipping. Most people don't even know I have a business partner, but that's why I have a business partner. He does the shipping. He does all the internet stuff that I don't want to do with, so.
I don't do any shipping anymore. I honestly, I probably couldn't even tell you how to ship anymore because George, Deanna, Christian, Patience, they all do all the shipping. I'm not even, everything changes so much. I probably don't even know. This is 100% sincere. I hope people understand this. I have made a lot of money on eBay well before YouTube. If you put me on eBay right now, I probably wouldn't even recognize it because I buy now. I'm the one that puts up the money and focuses on purchasing, and then everybody else is selling. I don't even touch the selling portion anymore. And there's no way that I could. Guess what they're doing? They're selling while I'm editing and I'm managing the social media. And they're going, hey, I'm happy selling and shipping while Jeremy's doing all the editing. I don't want to touch the editing. And that's why it all works. It's synergy, people coming together.
Oh man, editing. Which I got to do editing for tomorrow's video, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't, because we didn't film, even though we said we were going to. So we said we're going to get up early and film tomorrow morning.
Nice. Yeah, I did. I already did a lot of the editing, so I'm almost done. And then I want to go through and do a re-edit. I like to go through twice if I have the opportunity.
Conky, how long did it take you to edit your Conky's restorations, your video?
It took a long time because I did it all in 4K, and to try to edit it on even this machine I have here, it would play a second of video and then it would pause for 2 seconds. Then it would give you another second of video and pause for 2 seconds. It was excruciating.
So like a week? Like, would you say a week total to edit?
Probably, yeah. Because I would come up with something and I couldn't watch it in my editor. I would have to actually process the video, and I'd have to let it do that overnight because that 27-minute video processed in like 5 hours. So I'd have to do it overnight, and then I still don't have a good enough video card to sit here and watch it on my screen. If I felt that I was close, I would upload it to YouTube and watch it on YouTube, and then make notes of where I want to make changes, and I'll go back to the very beginning of the drawing board and start all over again.
Editing can be a nightmare, and that's one of the. So as we're all talking about hiring, I think this is good for people, but talking about expanding their business, because I know a lot of people are going to have goals in the upcoming year. That I'm not a good editor. I am not a good editor. Pure and simple, I am not a good editor. And I know I'm not a good editor. And I want to hire in-house a full-time editor that does nothing but edits all What the Hales videos, goes back and re-edits them and puts them on other platforms. And I've been looking for like 2 years for a full-time editor. And that proves the point again of somebody else should be editing all of our videos, because I'm not good at it. I need to find somebody who's skilled at it. But most editors don't want to tie themselves down to one company. They want to freelance to everybody. And what I want to do is offer housing and pay you a salary and say, edit all of my stuff. All you solely focus on What the Hales material, and you are in-house paid, housing, the whole deal, and I've yet to find a person to be able to do it. And that's why everybody has to put up with my horrible editing.
I know I'm not a great editor. I know I'm better than I was, but I know I'm definitely not a great editor. And people don't understand. It's like you got to film it, edit it. I mean, every video is such a time, they see a 20, 30 minute, 40-minute video, and it's like, oh, wow, they have no clue how much time, energy, and effort was put in sometimes these videos. It's like, and some videos are tougher to edit than others, and Jeremy will tell you that. I mean, there's some videos that's real easy to edit, not many, but some are a lot easier to edit when there's a good flow and everything else. Like storage units, sometimes when it's a good unit, it's a lot easier to edit. When some things are just much more difficult to edit.
Christmas in the Creek video that's going to come out, I can already tell you it's going to take me over a week to edit it. I already know. I have all the clips in my mind how I want it to go. I already know it's going to be a nightmare. I'm scared to edit it already. I'm thrilled and can't wait for the event, but it's going to take me well over a week to edit the video.
Yeah.
Well, when I do the restoration videos, you know, a lot of guys that restore like Tonka trucks on YouTube, they just film themselves restoring the truck. I actually want to shoot specific scenes and get certain sounds and get things to come apart a certain way. And it's a real pain when things don't come apart the way you want them to come apart and make the sound you want it to make to get the effect that you want in the final product. So what I've been doing is I've been doing the like I'll do all the pre shots for the thumbnail. I'll get as many pictures and video scenes of what I'm restoring before I even start taking it apart. So once you start taking it apart, you really can't put it back together and do it again. So I'll get all that down and then I'll edit it and I'll get it to the point where I at least know I have enough raw footage I can work with and move on to the disassembly, then the sandblasting, and then, you know, all the other steps after that. But if you mess up, you mess up. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like a storage unit. Like the one time he forgot to hit record.
Oh.
And you go through all these boxes and you do all this stuff, and then he's like, oh, and then it's like you can't put it all back in the boxes.
Nope.
Well, you can.
Yeah, Jeff knows that.
We've done that before, haven't we? Like we. So I don't know what she's doing. She's doing something, but she just said we had to redo something.
You recently forgot to hit record.
Oh, she's saying I forgot to hit record with John Crook across the street as he's calling me.
You thought you hit record.
By the way, the past 2 days I've driven by, he's yelling out the F word, a cigarette F word at me.
Oh, he's saying you're my best friend.
Yeah, he's saying you're my best friend. But the diesel truck is so loud, you can't hear him yelling at me. But you can hear it when you're driving by. So past 2 days, which they'll have another Ohio trial as well for contempt of court. But
so can I buy him a
there are times where you think you hit record, but there are times where we've done storage units and we've like, oh my goodness, we just screwed that all up. Or it'll be we're going through a box and all of a sudden, plain as day, is personal information. And for some reason, fans think that they need to reach out to every family member of every unit that we find and you know, bring up these horrible stories. You know, people are in jail and fighting and, you know, family. So we'll have to go back and go, all right, we got to cut that out. Let's try and reenact where we were at. And then we'll remove that, which that's why people go, oh, wait, well, Storage Wars is fake. Because when they open the doors, they're like, oh, the boxes are all blacked out. Well, Storage Wars as a TV show had to go in and make sure that there were no copyright infringement things, had to make sure there's no personal information. They had to prep before filming. We have to do it as we're filming and go, uh-oh, that was plain as day whose this is. All right, let's back up. Let's do it again. And it's rare, but we have to do it sometimes because or all of a sudden there's something that should not be seen at all on YouTube. YouTube has deleted our videos because YouTube has, some people have even said in the last videos we put out, well, why wouldn't you say this? Or why wouldn't you say this? Or why wouldn't you say this? Because we know YouTube guidelines and the viewers don't understand what YouTube is okay with and what YouTube is not okay with. We do. We understand YouTube. We know what the rules are. And so, and it's always adapting and changing. And so there are times something will show up where we used to be okay on YouTube. We could show it on YouTube. For example, you hear us all now saying pew pew instead of, you know, other words, because YouTube all of a sudden changed and went, we don't like that no more. That is not okay. And so we have to adapt, or we find something we're like, uh-oh, that's not okay. We have to remove that completely. And it's easier to actually go back and refilm than it is to try and edit it, because editing is a nightmare. All right, enough of my soapbox on editing and YouTube and all that. But you guys understand the pain.
It is a pain, and a pain. Guy, editing. You know, one of my family members was talking about do something on social media, and like baking and things like that. And she's like, I don't want to be seeing all this other stuff. But I was just telling her, I said, editing is one of the things that people just don't understand, because everyone's like, oh, I want to do YouTube, and it's a job. It's another. I shouldn't say it's a job. If you want to be successful on YouTube, like Jeremy told me a long time ago, Rob, you got to remember it's a job. If you want to be successful, you could just put out videos and everything else. But if you treat it as a job, you can actually make good money on YouTube. If you treat it as a job, you got to be consistent. You got to go to work all the time, right? You got to do a good job while you're at work and things like that. And then, to grow a channel, anything else. But, most people want to just, I'm going to start a channel, be a multimillionaire, and I'm going to get 1 million views every video I put out, and I'm going to be Mr. Beast. And it just doesn't happen that way, ladies and gentlemen. So, but I tell everyone the same thing: treat it as a job, and consistency.
And
that's the hard part.
The biggest thing. I think that's the only thing I think I probably do better than most people is my drive of consistency. Like I can be one of the most consistent people. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I think my friends would confirm to that, or George would confirm to that. If I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Consistency is part of my formula for success. If I'm even
6 videos a week, dude, that's just insane in itself. People don't have any clue how hard it is to put out 6 videos a week. They have no clue. I'm just saying.
It's more than a job. It's 2 jobs.
Right. I just know because I put out 6 videos a week like Jeremy did for a while. And I had to cut back just because it was like too much for me, because I have other obligations. I got the kids, the family. I got the other job, the auction company, everything else. It's very difficult to try to put out 6 videos a week and have content for 6 videos a week. And yeah, it's easy to do it 1 week or 2 weeks, but 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, a year, it's very difficult. So utmost, I know it's a lot, but that's his consistency, and that's why he is where he's at, because he's pushed himself, driven, and done it. And George makes great thumbnails, really. But he's leaving on that.
I try. I got bit by a fire ant this week.
What?
Ouch.
For the first time in my life. And
where's this fire ant come into?
Because it's starting to itch right now. I'm putting cortisone cream on it. I'm allergic because I swelled up and it's crazy.
Were you there, Jeremy, when she got bit?
I probably was. Hey, do you guys remember this room?
No, it looks completely different.
Way different.
Who tiled the floor?
Who removed the tile?
All the tiles are removed. We're waiting for you to come and tile the floor, man.
Concrete is ready for you, Rob.
Concrete, all prepped.
Conky and I are coming down. We're buying a unit and tiling some floor, right, Conky?
Yep.
I told Rob, Conky, I'm like, dude, you need to come down for Christmas in the Creek, but find a unit in Florida, fly down, buy the unit, come to Christmas in the Creek. I'm telling you, Conky. Oh, you two could U-Haul it back and tandem drive. You two could get one together and tandem drive. You guys need to talk.
Yeah.
You hear it, Conky?
I hear that.
On that note, we appreciate everyone checking out the Thanksgiving special on AA, and we're going to do our little prayer here. And since Mr. Hales hasn't been here for a prayer for a couple moons, you're going to say the prayer time, Mr. Hales?
You want me to do what?
Oh,
There he goes.
gosh. For the prayer, Conky? Man. Well, I'm going to say the prayer anyways.
All right.
Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us all together in your name on this wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving and all the things we are thankful for. Thank you for all the blessings you have given us and our families. We appreciate everything you've done for us. We have lots of special intentions. First, let Sammy do whatever you can. Help out Sammy. Anything possible, Lord. Maybe a miracle. We'd appreciate it. And everything you've done for everyone. We appreciate that. And anyone that has any special intentions, any issues, problems, any family members or friends or animals, anybody out there, any special needs, Lord, listen to them. Please help them. We appreciate everything you've given us. Amen.
Amen.
So, and guys, we appreciate you guys checking us out on this wonderful Thanksgiving. My wife's like, "You're doing AA and Thanksgiving." I was like, "Yeah, we did it last year. People want to have some fun with us."
Yeah.
And I want to see Conky and want to see Hales, and it was a good time, and we had a lot of good discussions. And anything you want to talk about, Conky, before we leave?
No, I think we've pretty much covered everything.
And I got one thing I want to say.
Amen, Jesus.
What
Did you guys not even close your eyes and bow your heads? Are you serious?
Oh my gosh, that was beautiful.
December 2nd, Rob's got Painesville.
You coming up?
I'm going to talk to George about flying up.
Yeah, December 2nd, Painesville. Man, that's coming up. What is that, next week already? Or is it 2 weeks?
It's soon. It's very soon.
I
mentioned it to
That's
George
a week from Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it's next Saturday.
What?
It's not this Saturday. It's next Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, you better get on it, Guapo.
Next Saturday. How many units at Painesville?
I will give you an update. Last I talked, there was a bunch.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Look, I just got sent a picture. This is from what Jeff. Look, he's got a Second Sense jacket on, and he sent a family photo.
Cool.
He said, "Tell everyone hello." So Just Jeff said, "Shout out to everybody." But no, we appreciate everybody. And I got a great auction Saturday. I got another great auction next Saturday. Conky has this thing going on Saturday. Yeah, Conks?
We'll always have a show Saturday.
He have his show 8 o'clock. Fun Day Sunday. What the Hales 8 o'clock. And don't forget Christmas in the Creek. If you guys, you've seen it up there multiple times. Everyone wants to throw it in the chat real quick, but send it. What the Hales? Taking unwrapped gifts to hand out Christmas in the Creek. There's a lot of underprivileged people in that area, and people don't understand. But that part of Florida is very, very poor, and a lot of people say, "Oh, Florida's rich," and all sorts of stuff. The coast is where all the money is, and then in interior, there's not a lot of money. That's where land is a lot cheaper in the coast area. So, but no, we appreciate everyone. We had a happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to go eat some more pie, maybe, or brownie. What are you guys going to do? Pie.
I'm going to work on social media. Did you guys pray yet?
Yeah, you want to pray again? We'll pray again with you.
I thought you ignored my prayer and everything.
Say one quick prayer for us, Mr. Hales.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time together, the fellowship that we can have with friends, our families that have all gathered together for Thanksgiving. And you are what we are most thankful for. Thank you for our life. Thank you for the grace that you bestow upon us. Thank you for salvation, sending your son. And as Christmas comes and we celebrate your son, may we continue to give gifts out of the gift that you gave us, salvation. Father, we thank you for all of that. We pray in your precious name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. That was a wonderful prayer. We appreciate everybody out there. Thank you so much. Don't forget, check out all of our videos, all of our channels. And I got some great auctions coming up, shipping everywhere in the world. So don't be afraid to bid. Anyone have anything else to say?
December 2nd.
December 2nd.